What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Fatman and Chill podcast. This is episode 3, and this is the Friday the 13th episode. And yeah, we're gonna go over the entire franchise. But before we go over that, no, no real news updates on any release dates for movies coming up yet. We pretty much gone over that. So we'll have to wait for October. Um,
Major news, though, the strike has ended.
oh, that's right. Yeah, I was gonna get to that. Uh, let's see. So yeah, no real to releases yet. We pretty much went over that in the last episode, so we'll have to wait till October for what's coming out. And October's going to be a banger for movies, especially because that is the release window for or the release of the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. That I'm super stoked about. But and we are going to be reviewing Five Nights at Freddy's when it comes out. The awesome thing is it's coming out to I think it was either Paramount Plus. Yeah, it was. Or wait, Paramount Plus or Peacock. It's one of the two. It's either the cock or uh, Paramount Plus. But I'm gonna clip that out because that's gonna be our short. Um, yeah, so it's either gonna be on the cock or it's gonna be on Amazon. I mean, Paramount Plus. So we will be reviewing that when it comes out. I'll be able to watch it for sure. I think you guys have Paramount Plus over there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then yeah, we'll both be able to review that movie. Uh, so moving forward, Z's got your guys' wrestling news for the week. Before we get into that, though, we're going to say there has definite. Oh, sorry about the hair, guys. My hair is a mess. It's been a hell of a day. Uh, there has been a tentative agreement between the Actors Guild, the Screenwriters Guild, or whatever one it was, the SAG-AFTRA, and the big companies. This tentative agreement looks like this strike is finally going to come to an end. I was glad that it finally came to an end because they were trying to bring the video game side into it, which thankfully it didn't happen. So yeah, it looks like we'll be getting the movies that have been delayed and a bunch of shows that have been delayed finally getting ready to move forward. Congratulations to the SAG After crew. You guys seem to have gotten what you want. Well deserved. Again, I really don't pity the actors. I pity everyone else that doesn't have the five-figure income, or actually probably 10-figure income that these guys do. Um, I do feel bad for the actors in one aspect, especially when it comes to the Netflix side of things, that I just recently found out that the actors don't really make any money from the shows that are on Netflix after they've already come out. So I was reading that Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad, he doesn't see anything from the streaming uh, numbers that he gets on the basically there's no royalties for the actors on the Netflix. Now that I hope that they are gonna finally get something going there because these guys are just sitting there rich, the Netflix and the Amazons and all that, and then it kind of sucks for the actors. So yeah, so we finally got some good news there. Strike's coming to an end, and then we'll move on to the WWE segment. I don't know if we have AEW news yet, but if we do, we will let you know. So, Steve, let me know when you're done over there or something. And then, yeah, we'll move forward. So, D, give the people their WWE/slash wrestling news.
All right. So this past week SmackDown was once again an absolute amazing show.
I did not get to see it, so you're going to be highlighting for me too.
Yeah. So the start of the SmackDown started with John Cena, pretty much calling out the Bloodline, and
Oh, so Cena's back now, huh? John Cena's back fairly regularly. That's pretty cool.
yeah. So pretty much the show opened out with John Cena doing the cold open. Uh, Pretty much he was talking about the Bloodline members, Solo and Jimmy, saying how they were pretty much a problem, and he had a partner in mind. So the original plan was for the plan went according to WWE's plan.
Kitty.
Little kid. Uh, so John Cena said he had a phenomenal partner in mind, and that cued AJ Styles to come out, seemingly to accept John Cena's offer on
Oh God.
taking on the Bloodline on that night. However, things didn't pan out that way. Uh, Jimmy, of course, seemingly taking the reins on Solo and backing him away, saying not tonight on their own terms. So with that, both John Cena and AJ were in the back talking to Adam Pearce about it. And, when it comes to the Bloodline, Adam Pearce says you have to deal with Paul Heyman. So he went to go look for Paul to continue that. I didn't get much. It's completely slipped my mind on taking notes on SmackDown until the very last moment. Where I got the pre-main event, the main event, and the ending of the show. So fast forwarding through all that, I'll make sure that this week I'll actually get down everything like I did for Raw.
Yeah, that's
So the pre-main event of the night was a championship match. It was Asuka versus Io Sky for the women's championship.
how real quick. How Asuka is like one of the best female wrestlers, hands down. I I love everything that Asuka does. Uh she's just really I like really great. Like how she invokes the green spray. I like her the way she comes down to the ring. So yeah, Asuka's really an underused talent over there. I feel.
Yeah, and just as the match was about to begin for that, we were actually met with Charlotte Flair coming out, seemingly setting up a match in the near future between her and the winner of that match.
I'm
Uh,
over the flares. I'm over.
yeah. Uh, the match was a very good match, solid match. Trading blow for blow, they counter with counter. They gave it their all. Uh, However, with Bailey and the rest of Damage Control being out there, Io Sky was obviously gonna pick up the win, and that's what happened. Bailey pretty much got her out of the Asuka lock
Mm,
without the ref noticing, putting her foot on the rope, and that opened up for Charlotte to take out Bailey, causing just enough of a distraction for Io to hit her finisher and take out Asuka. I gave that match like a solid B plus on the tier scale.
call it.
And our main event. So the main event of SmackDown was Austin Theory and Grayson Waller taking on the Brawling Brutes.
Oh my god, those guys are so annoying.
Uh, so this is the second week in a row where Grayson Waller and Austin Theory have paired up, and they still don't have a team name, but it looks like they're building them to be a tag team of sorts. So I've pretty much coined the name for them as Effective Theory. It took a good amount of brain cells to try to think of that name. Uh, so that match was honestly, it was also a good match. Grayson Waller and Austin Theory work well together. Uh, they actually got the win on that match too. You know, yeah. So with as I call them, Effective Theory getting the win, I gave that one a solid B. That match, it was a pretty good main event for SmackDown. So how SmackDown ended was we were treated to a contract signing for Fastlane between John Cena and supposedly AJ Styles. Uh, and you'll see why I'll say that in a minute. And Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso. So I gave this one a grade C minus. And it's not really WWE's fault. So let me explain. So with the contract signing, John Cena was the first one out, and he didn't waste no time. He signed that contract right away, no lollygagging involved. We were then cut back to after AJ Styles' music was hit. We were then cut back to a shot of Jimmy Uso beating him in the back, beating him up in the back, and then Solo jumping off of some equipment and diving onto a table that AJ Styles was put on, causing a televised injury. AJ was seen then coming back from commercial break. We were seeing AJ Styles being taken away on a stretcher in an ambulance. So with that, we then cut to the ring with Paul Heyman, Solo Sikoa, and Jimmy Uso all out in the ring. Paul Heyman holding the contract, and the other two just destroying the setup. John Cena came back out, tried to fight the Bloodline members by himself, but obviously with the numbers game, it wasn't going to end. So the reason why I say supposedly it was supposed to be AJ Styles is because it was later revealed that plans originally counted for LA Knight to come out and save John Cena. However, just before SmackDown started, LA Knight had to return home due to the fact he tested positive for COVID.
Yeah,
So,
COVID.
so the plans might still be in lane, saying that John Cena is going to have a mystery partner come Fastlane, and that mystery partner is going to be LA Knight. Or if he's not able to wrestle by then, I don't see him in his day, in this age of his, with how old John Cena is, I don't see him doing a 2-on-1 handicap match like in the old days. He's no longer in his prime. I think he wouldn't really risk. I mean, like, he would risk that, but I don't think WWE would risk him doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, never know. I mean, there's always a chance that The Rock shows up too. But...
yeah, so that's what happened on SmackDown. So let's go over to Monday Night Raw last night. So the start of the show, we started with Cody Rhodes. He came out to start the show. We were treated with a flashback of what happened at the end of last week's Raw with the match between Drew McIntyre and Jey Uso, ending with Drew McIntyre walking away while he got pummeled by the Judgment Day in the ring, supposedly setting up a heel turn for Drew McIntyre in the future.
Can I just say one thing? Judgment Day is the worst faction WWE's had, hands down. What's his name? Dominic Mysterio sucks. The only good thing, or there's only two shining spots in that group. Rhea Ripley, who's incredibly talented, and when she's not in character, extremely hot. Like if you've ever seen her pictures outside of her character, Rhea Ripley, that woman is gorgeous. Um, and then of course Finn Balor, who I'm a big fan of, who they still keep continuing to screw over. That man never got his rematch for his championship belt that he did not lose.
Yeah. So Cody then was about to start talking about the Judgment Day. As he did, they came out, obviously. Started going on. They went on a rant about Cody sticking his nose in their business, and Cody pretty much told them he just told them to step up then, and so they were gonna go on a 3-on-1 assault until surprise surprise, Jey Uso came out and stood side by side with Cody. The numbers game was still in the Judgment Day's favor, so they were planning on still attacking until Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn also came out from the crowd to support Cody Rhodes. That would have been the end of it had J.D. McDonough, Finn Balor's friend, hadn't come out with a steel chair. And pretty much, to me, what it seems like is pretty soon, or sooner than later, Judgment Day is going to lose their tag titles due to a screw up from JD, and it's gonna tear. That's what's gonna be the nail in the coffin for the Judgment Day as a faction. It's gonna split Finn from the rest of them and maybe restart the Bullet Club, bring the Bullet Club to WWE the proper way.
Yeah.
So that pretty much sealed the Judgment Day's fate because Damian Priest was the only one left in the ring, and he just got beaten to a pulp,
Oh, I forgot that guy
surrounded
was.
by all.
I forgot that guy was even part of it.
Yeah. So after that, we got treated to our first match. Otis versus Bronson Reed was the first match of the night.
Oh.
The two biggest people on the Raw roster. Each weighing in over 300 pounds. You know, luckily the ring was reinforced for that match. We didn't see a ring implosion. I gave that match an A minus. It was a really good match, complete with the back and forth. You know, with the men colliding into one another, taking each other out. You know, neither men wanting to stay down. Otis, actually Bronson Reed, shocked people by lifting up Otis and to a Samoan drop.
Oh wow.
And then Otis followed that up with his own version of the angle slam.
Angle slam.
Yeah. He hit his signature move, the caterpillar, but he missed a drop from the second rope, allowing Bronson Reed to hit him with his own finisher, the tsunami. I think he calls it the tsunami splash.
Mm-hmm.
Bronson Reed got the win on that match. So the second match of the night was Ciampa versus Ludwig Kaiser of Imperium.
Another person that's yeah.
Yeah, so that match came about because Ciampa earlier in the day, we were met with a vinaigrette of him confronting Gunther and wanting a title match, but Kaiser stepping in the way and saying, "Go through me. You have to go through me first," which it wasn't really going to be an issue. It looks like they're trying to build up this match as an inevitable standpoint between both of them. Ciampa won the match. Pretty simple. Due to Vinci's interference, though, it caused Kaiser the match because Vinci got hit in the face with a knee from Ciampa, and it seemingly looked like his nose was broken. He was holding his face. The ref was distracted. He didn't count. He didn't see the 3 count on Ciampa. When the ref finally got Vinci out of the ring and turned around, all that happened was a riptide knee or ripcord knee from Ciampa to Kaiser for the pin. So that match got a B plus.
Nice.
Next was the women's match for Becky Lynch's championship, NXT championship. Let me rephrase that, for number 1 contendership for that championship. Tegan Nox originally just wanted to be put in front of the line, but Natalya being Natalya, she pretty much stepped in, and Adam Pearce just made a match to see who would be the next one to face Becky Lynch after NXT's premium live event. So it was a quick match. Becky Lynch was on commentary talking. It was a strong match, having near pinfall after near pinfall. Tegan would hit her finisher on Natalya, getting the easy win. And that match was a C for me. So we were then met with Seth Rollins coming out to talk. So the mid-show event was Seth Rollins wanting an answer from Shinsuke Nakamura from last week about him naming any time, any place, any stipulation for the World Heavyweight Championship. We then got another tape of Shinsuke talking to Seth. I wasn't gonna go through all the translations for that. So pretty much Shinsuke said that at Fastlane they will have their match in a last man standing match. It will just be a full on fight until one of them can't stand up to the count of 10. And this feud has given Nakamura a new life in the WWE, you know. It's been really stale for him in the past couple of years with him being thrown down to a mid carder. So yeah,
Nakamura has the best entrance song in all of WWE, and especially
he
when he has the violinist live, he does it. Like sometimes he'll do it at pay-per-views. Nakamura's song is just. I even have it on my Spotify playlist. It's that song is just man.
it's a good workout song. So I gave that one a solid B plus. So the fourth match was a championship match, for the NXT North American Championship. So it was Dirty Dominic Mysterio versus Dragon Lee, and this one has my highest grade of Monday Night Raw, with a grade A.
Oh, nice.
Yes, this match was phenomenal. Dominic was dominating at the start of the match. However, it was very short lived, with Dragon Lee showing why he's a luchador and why he's considered a high flyer. He was flying, bouncing all over the ring. Uh, Coming back, we went to commercial break. Coming back from that, we saw Dom going for a frog splash, only for Dragon Lee to get his knees up. They would trade some blows back and forth, with Dom getting a near fall, missing a 619. Lee would also get a near fall after hitting a devastating knee to Dominic. Uh, Going from the inside of the ring with Dominic on the outside apron, Lee would hit a Hurricane Rana on Dominic Mysterio, putting the fans in awe, and they would start chanting their usual "This is awesome" chant through the crowd. Then a power bomb. Lee would then hit a power bomb on the inside of the ring, getting another near fall. Lee would hit a double stomp. However, going for his finisher, Dominic would reverse it, uh, hitting a 5-star frog splash and getting the win. A clean win this time, without the help of the Judgment Day.
Oh, nice. So
Yeah,
are we
so
doing a baby face turn for Dominic?
nah, I don't think he's ready for that yet. He's has too much heat as a heel right now, and I think that's where he's more comfortable in, because his mic skills aren't that great. So
No, they're really not.
him being not being able to even speak right now is doing him wonders for his character. And, he's getting better week after week in terms of wrestling. Doing double duty on both the main roster and on NXT. So it's really helping him out having that title.
Yeah.
So let's see. The late show event was Michael Cole and Nia Jax interview. This one got a C minus from me. So
Oh, she's still there? I thought she got let go.
a while ago, yes, but then she showed up randomly at the Royal Rumble as a surprise number 30 entrant.
Oh.
And then they've just been using her sparingly, and now it looks like they're trying to build her up for a match of some type of caliber. I'm not really sure where they're going with it. So she pretty much was that she's supposed to be like she claims an unstoppable force.
Yeah.
Zoe Stark would then interrupt her, and a brawl would break out, causing an impromptu match between the both of them. But this was just a squash match to build up Nia Jax even more, as it was over rather quickly. So we had two pre-main event. We had a pre-main event showcase and then the pre-main event. So the showcase was Miz TV with Drew McIntyre. That got my lowest grade so far of a D.
Ooh, that sucks.
and it has nothing to do with the fact that it's just The Miz, and I don't really like The Miz. This was simply due to the fact that it was just pretty much just a filler to fill in time until they can do the till they can get to the match between Drew McIntyre and Kofi Kingston. So it was, the segment was just sloppy. It was hastily done, and it pretty much ended like always for The Miz, with The Miz getting beaten up for no reason, without any provocation, really. So, skipping over to the pre-main event, which was Drew McIntyre versus Kofi Kingston. This happened around, I believe, 10:17 p.m. So really close to the end of the show. It felt last minute and rushed, as the show's closing really drew closer. Kofi had the momentum going in. Of course, then it would go back to Drew getting momentum. Uh, Kofi surprised everyone by hitting Dolph Ziggler's move on Drew McIntyre. He hit the Famouser on Drew McIntyre, so that was a surprise coming from Kofi. Uh, Kofi went up for he hit a boom drop, winding up for Trouble in Paradise, but Drew reversed it into a Future Shock DDT. They spewed out of the ring, and Drew ended up hitting Kofi with a reverse Alabama slam onto the ring apron.
Ouch.
Kofi was not getting up for that. Kofi was gonna go for, or Drew was gonna go for a Claymore, but Kofi reversed it into an SOS. For another near fall, but then the Viking Raiders Ivar would come out and take out what's his name?
Kofi?
What's his name? No, not Kofi, the other guy.
Oh, Xavier Woods.
Yes, Xavier Woods.
Yeah.
He'd take him out, and then this would give the distraction enough for Drew McIntyre to hit a Claymore. Ivar would continue after the match to attack Kofi Kingston now, taking him out of the equation as well. And Drew just once again just walked away like it was none of his business. Seemingly, like I said, to set up a heel turn in the near future.
Right.
So our main event. This one, I apologize because earlier I said another segment got a high grade. This one got an even higher grade. The main event got an A+.
Oh, dang.
It was Finn Balor and Damian Priest of the Judgment Day versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the Undisputed Tag Team Championship. So the match was off to a fire start. Kevin Owens couldn't barely wait. They just, as soon as that bell rang, they both started going after each other. Both teams just started going after one another. And they just kept pouring the gas on that fire constantly.
Yeah.
So the chemistry between these two teams is on another level. Like, they work really well together. Kevin Owens would hit a frog splash after taking out Finn and Damian for a near fall. The fans chanting, "This is awesome." This was an understatement, I'd say, because the match was it was phenomenal. Finn would hit a drop kick in the corner, hitting the coup de grace, only for Sami Zayn to break it up at a near 2 count. Sami would then, Dom would cause a distraction, but the distraction would fail, and Sami Zayn would hit a Blue Thunder Bomb on Damian Priest. Another distraction from Dominic would cause Damian to hit a side choke slam. I don't know what he calls it, but he like picked him up from the side and like just threw him down.
Yeah, that's a sidearm slam, I think. or
Yeah, so
sidebar slam.
yeah, but Sammy wouldn't go down for the 2 count. Jay Uso then came out and was beating up Dom all over the ring until JD came out. JD McDonough came out, and then Cody Rhodes followed. However, while running Dominic, they would then Cody and Jay would turn their attention to Dominic, thinking having taken out JD McDonough, and would start driving Dominic out. The people from the back would start coming out to try to separate these guys. But with all that distraction going on, it looked like Sami Zayn was about to hit, or he did hit a Huluba kick on Damien. However, he took a bit too long to get off the ring, and JD had an opportunity to hit Sammy with one of the titles, causing him to fall. Damien covered him for the win. So yeah, Judgment Day retained their titles.
Yeah.
And that was the end of Raw. It continued after that. Another brawl broke out between the Judgment Day, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens, seemingly to set up a dark match.
Yeah.
After Raw went off the air.
Those dark matches are always pretty good too.
Yep, that was it for wrestling.
All right, guys. Well, that was your wrestling news. Been on that one, so that was good though. Good job, Z. Let's see. All right, so now we're gonna get into the main topic of the show here. Now that we've gotten the entertainment slash wrestling news out of the way. So we were going over last week, and then when we talked about it, so we decided to review the Friday the 13th franchise, and I did the painstakingly homework edition, and I watched every single freaking Friday the 13th movie out there. Um, it was a chore because these movies, they really, some of them haven't aged well at all, and some of them still hold up. So we're gonna start from the very beginning of the franchise, and we're gonna end at the reboot. So starting off at number one, we had Friday the 13th, the original movie. Let's see. And that's the one where if it's the one that started the franchise, and it was it's the one that threw everybody for a loop because most people weren't ready for the outcome of the first one. Um, and that let's see, that movie came out in 1980. So for those of you that don't know, it starts off with um, Friday the 13th. It starts off with the accidental drowning of which would become later on the series' main character. Um, a little boy, Jason Voorhees, drowned at Camp Crystal Lake due to the negligence of the camp counselors that were supposed to be watching them. He was not able to swim, went into the lake. Now, this story has been changed several different times. Originally, it was just that they weren't paying attention and he fell in and drowned. Later on in editions, it was that the camp counselors weren't paying attention. He was being bullied and tossed into the lake. So chronologically, you do with that what you will. Bunch of mysterious murders break out. Camp counselors at Camp Crystal Lake start going missing or showing up dead. All culminating to the very end and the reveal that Jason's mother, what was her name?
Pamela.
Pamela Voorhees was on a revenge tour to get her revenge on the counselors that watched her son die, which was the big reveal that got everybody because they were not expecting Pamela to be the one. It was heavily hinted at in the movie that maybe it was the boy himself. Um, the movie ends with spoiler alert, guys. Too, by the way, we're getting into the nitty gritty. Uh, the movie ends with Pamela going one on one on a showdown with the last survivor of the camp counselors, a young woman, I forgot her name, um, and ultimately Pamela loses that fight and is beheaded at the hands of the hero of the movie. Tim,
Alice Hardy.
what is it?
Her name, the last counselor's name is Alice Hardy, played
Okay,
by King. I believe that's how you say her first
yeah,
name.
Alice, the final survivor, and it ends with the camp being raided by the police coming in, and the survivor, they find her, discovering that the camp is basically a bloodbath. Um, and then before all that, though, Alice has a vision of the dead body of Jason pulling her into the lake. And then she wakes up asking, "Is the little boy alive?" And then roll credits, and then we move on to the second one. So, Z, what did you think about Friday the 13th Part 1?
You know, and I attribute my, me personally, when it comes to horror films, I love them. I'm a blood and gore type person when it comes to movies.
Yeah. Now I do have my limits. I don't like the Hostel series. I don't like the Saw series. Those are just I call those well everybody calls it gore porn or torture porn. And I'm not into the big heavy gory movies, but stuff that's like nailed down like Friday the 13th and all them more friendly horror movies I do like. But things
Yeah,
like Hostel, Green Inferno, and all that, yeah, I'm not big on the real. I think
yeah,
those are just unnecessary.
yeah. With me, I'm just a horror fanatic. I give every horror movie a chance,
Yeah.
and I grade them. I personally grade them on whether or not I would want to rewatch them or not. And Friday the 13th is one of those series that I can watch over and over again,
No.
especially people who never even seen the series in the first place.
Mhm.
Uh the Friday the 13th along with Halloween are the two top franchises that I will introduce to people that are new to the horror genre.
Yeah.
So for me, Friday the 13th, while it came out in 1980, uh, you know, I didn't really get a chance to see when it was originally came out because obviously I was born way
Neither one
later.
of us was born when this movie came out.
Yeah. So, I watched it off the DVDs my dad had, off of the reruns on TV,
Yeah.
and this toppled with Halloween, the original Halloween as well, is what got me into the horror franchise. So for me, I have to like rate this film in the same tier as Halloween, as the original Halloween, being for me an S tier. Honestly, it's a classic movie. You can't go wrong.
So you're giving the first one an S tier. Well, let's just do it on a scale of 1 to 5. That seems to be easier. So you're giving
So yeah, that would be a 5 out of 5.
so part one would be at 5 out of 5.
Yeah, for
Okay.
me, it's just a genuine classic.
For me, I do love the original Friday the 13th, but for me, I feel like the franchise gets better as it goes along. So for me, I'm giving personally the 1980 original Friday the 13th a C. I mean a 3.
See, I'm
Um,
getting you on it too.
hey, sorry about that, guys. I'm giving it a 3 out of 5 simply because I didn't like the setup. You could kind of see where it was going a mile away. And I didn't think Pamela as great of a character as most people do. I get it, 100% get her motive and all that stuff. I just didn't find her story fascinating enough for me to care. So Friday the 13th, honestly, the first one, I'll watch every other movie but that one. That one's a miss for me. And then there's another two that I like to skip. But yeah, no. So Z gave it a 5, and I gave it a 3. I mean, I gave it a 3 just because it's the one that started the franchise, but simply I like the other ones better. Okay, so then we move on to 1981, Friday the 13th Part 2. Now, Friday the 13th Part 2 is where it starts to get interesting, the series. So, no. So, Friday the 13th, it picks up exactly where the first one left off. Um, they they show the previous one where they're moving along. The survivor, Alice is at the hospital. She starts giving her side of the story, and then they slowly move on to her going home. Now, with her going home, she starts to feel like maybe something's a little off, and then it's quickly shown that somebody offs her. She's dealt with pretty quick. Um, the movie then continues, saying there's a news report saying that the girl that survived the camp has gone missing. There's no one that they don't know where she's at. Um, Whole mystery ensues. We then get introduced to the next set of camp counselors that come in, and they are getting ready to open the camp and do their thing. A whole bunch of shenanigans break out, and then it's revealed that hold on, sorry, my thing is falling off. Uh, it's then revealed that the killer in this movie is Jason Voorhees himself. He was there the night that his mom was beheaded, and then he set out on a revenge tour to avenge his mother, whose severed head he keeps in his shed and worships like a deity. Um, he's then movie goes on, and then he is promptly dealt with. I don't remember how does he supposedly die in the second one.
Uh, it looks like it says here, then part two, he is supposedly has a machete slammed through his shoulder and is left for dead.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I just seen these two. So it's like, uh, yeah. Yeah. So um, then they find out that yeah, it was Jason the whole time. Then he supposedly dies, and then the movie ends. Roll credits, and yeah. So Friday the 13th Part Two. What do you rate that one, Z? For personally, for me, I'm giving that one a four because it introduced us to who would later on become the main character of the series, Jason Voorhees. And for me, it gets a four because now the franchise is starting to get to where it's at, up in the echelon of the highest tier of horror movies, the original GOAT. So for me, it's a 4 out of 5. And what are you giving it?
I'm giving it the exact same rating.
Right on, perfect. So we're giving the part two is getting a even 4 out of 4 or 4 out of 5. I'm sorry, guys. Um, yeah. All right. Moving on to part three. Friday the 13th Part 3, which was released in 1982. And this one was interesting because it was really one of the first time that 3D was used in movie. The movie is titled Friday the 13th Part 3D. So, uh, it, really the 3D portions of the movie are super obnoxious because you can blatantly tell when they're trying to work in 3D by shoving a stick in your face or blatantly pointing something at you. It was really, really obnoxious in certain parts. Uh, but one of the coolest scenes in the movie is when Jason is on the dock and he shoots a harpoon or some kind of water launcher thing, and it comes right at. I mean, you can see the string basically guiding it. It's coming straight at you, and it hits someone in the eyeball or the forehead. I think that was like one of the best kills in the movie. Um, but
Which one are
yeah,
you talking about?
huh?
Are you talking about Manhattan?
No, 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 this is part three.
Okay, I was about to say, because, like, the harp. Oh, wait a minute, that's right, he used the harpoon move twice.
He used I think the one in Manhattan's Spear or yeah, or maybe I don't know what it was, but it was long.
It was on a boat, so I consider any type of spear that's
Yeah,
on a boat.
that's true. Um, okay, so yeah, part three. In part three, this is where Jason gets the iconic hockey mask. He gets it from one of the counselors or kids in the movie. His name was, I believe it was Shelly. This kid is a goofball. He's a jokester. He's basically freaking annoying the entire movie until Jason finally gets rid of him. Um, he's always playing pranks, and he's just one guy trying to get lucky that has no shot. Uh, he gets the hockey mask from him, and then comes the Jason that we know and love today. Um, and then, as per regular Friday the 13th movies, a bunch of shenanigans break out. Comes down to the single counselor surviving. Uh, Four-person female hero. I think this one was. I think there was two survivors in this one. Was there not? No, I don't. I don't remember. Oh yeah, I think it was just the one. So yeah, it goes on, and uh, the movie basically rolls up all the way to a one-on-one battle with Jason, the final survivor, and she gives him a run for his money. And then in this one, he she finishes him off by I think it was an axe to the head. Um, so that's part three. And then we do recommend you guys watching all these movies. They're all available on HBO Max right now, or just Max. I'm sorry, I forgot the name. So they're all available on Max if you guys want to go see them. Um, so yeah, that was part three. For me, part three, I'm giving part three again a 4 out of 5. It introduced the mask. It was one of the most iconic ones, seeing him on the mask for the first time. Again, the machete for a big majority of the movie. Had some of the best kills. The most obnoxious part, though, was the 3D aspect of it. I really didn't care for it. But yeah, solid 4 out of 5 for me. What are you giving it, Z?
Uh, part 3, I'd have to give. Honestly, I'd give it like a 4.5.
Okay. So 4. So it's getting a solid 4 all the way around then. Uh, so yeah, 4.3. Now we move on to part 4, which is the final chapter. Let's see. Uh, hold on one second.
So the final chapter continues where part 3 leaves off.
Right. So the final chapter, which is part 4, released in 1984, and it introduced Corey Feldman into the movie thing. If you don't know who Corey Feldman is, he's most famous for being Donatello from the Ninja Turtles 1 in the original Ninja Turtles. He's also more famous for his role as Mouth in the Goonies. Also, he was in The Lost Boys as one of the vampire hunters. Corey Feldman has a very, very and one of his best movies of all time, in my opinion, Stand by Me, one of my favorite movies ever. Corey definitely has a very good movie record, and then yeah, get into obscurity later on in his career. But Corey Feldman's a story for another time. Um, yeah, so this one released in 1984. This one picks up, like Z said, right after part 3, as in Jason's been dead and buried, and people are glad that he's gone. This one opens up so weird because it's like they were getting ready to reopen the camp again, and then they come to find out that, or now that Jason's gone, they're gonna go ahead and reopen the camp. It opens up with this guy. I don't remember what his problem was, but he's just on one, and this other guy who seemed to have some kind of mental disability or something, or maybe he was just, I don't know. I'm gonna stick with the mental disability. He wasn't all there. Uh-oh, hold on.
So pretty much Jason
There we go.
is
Sorry,
taken
guys.
to Jason was taken to the morgue, seemingly dead from the last movie, but awakens on the coroner's table, taking out both coroner and the nurse before returning to Crystal Lake.
Yeah.
or as as each movie has shown, a group of teenagers have rented a house on Crystal Lake and fall victim to Jason's rampage.
Was it him in this one?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Hang on one second. I was showing that. Oh, it was him. Okay, you're right. Okay, yeah, yeah. All right. So the movie goes like he said. They're renting a house. They go and they're doing their thing. And forget the first part that I told you. That's in the next movie. Um, they Corey Feldman and all them. They go one on one with Jason, and basically they it comes up to the final showdown, which is Feldman, his character Tommy. He dresses himself up to look like Jason as he did when a little kid. And those of you that know, Jason is a mongoloid, so he's deformed. He's got facial problems and stuff like that. Um, Corey pretty much convinces Jason to let his guard down. He's then brought down, and then Tommy with the machete attacks Jason and bludgeons him, or basically stabs him to death with the machete while screaming, "Die, die, Jason, die!" And yeah, and that's where this one ends. Um, so part four is the 4 to 5. All right, now what are you rating it? I'm giving this one a. Oh, I'll give this one a 3 out of 5. Wasn't one of my favorites. Um, it did introduce us to Tommy Jarvis, who would later on become pretty big in the next two movies. It finally finished off Jason as we know him, and then yeah, it had a pretty decent cast. So yeah, I'm giving it 3 out of 5.
Yeah, I'd honestly have to give it a 3 as well.
All right, so we're at unanimous. A solid 3 for part 4. All right, we're gonna speed this up, guys. So let's see. 1984, Final Fantasy. Wrong one. Friday the 13th, the final chapter. Now this one, forgettable. This one was absolutely forgettable. I don't like this one. Um, let's see. So I'm not even gonna get into it. If you guys want to watch it, you can. I'll
The
give
next
it.
one was actually A New Beginning. We just did final chapter.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. My notes are wrong, guys. Okay. All right. So yeah,
So,
this would be part 5, a new beginning. So
yep.
um, like I said, this one's very forgettable. I'll give you a brief summary of it. Basically, it picks up right after the previous one left off. This is the one where the guy swinging the axe kills the guy who has the mental disability. Come to find out, it is a illegitimate child, or a child that this ambulance driver didn't claim or didn't want to claim. Comes to find out that he did love his son after all. He decides he's going to go on a rampage disguised as Jason. Ultimately, it comes down to a battle between him and the titular survivors. He is pretty much comes to a halting stop by Tommy, I forgot her name, and another boy who then pushes him out the top of a barn and impales him on a bed of spikes. And that ends the new beginning. For me, 2 out of 5. 2 out of 5.
For me, it's a 1.
Oh, a one. Ooh, that's brutal. Yeah. So new beginning.
I'm not a fan of copycat killer tropes and
Yeah, me neither.
slasher
It's
films.
yeah. So a new beginning. Um, watchable, but yeah, not my favorite.
And with the next one, with Jason, with part 6, Jason Lives, you could tell that the reason that they did that one simply because of the fact that the copycat trope doesn't really work
Yeah,
out.
it wasn't paying
They
off. Or
always, yeah, they always end up having to resort to bringing back the original guy
all right.
just to save face.
Yeah. So moving on, we have Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. Now, this introduces us to the Jason that we definitely all know and love, aka Zombie Jason. Um, Movie opens up with Tommy Jarvis, shovel, axe, mask, pickaxe, I mean, shovel, pickaxe, mask. Him and a friend that he's with, they are going to, it doesn't tell you exactly what they're doing. The friend asks him, where are we going? He's like, we're going to make sure Jason's dead. I gotta see it for myself. Tommy's whole mission is to destroy the body to make sure that he's gone permanently, because Tommy being completely haunted by the memories of Jason, basically some super PTSD. Uh, they arrive, unbury him, dig him up. Tommy finds a piece of wrought iron steel from one of the nearby gates, uh, then goes and impales Jason several times with the iron gate, all while this is taking place inside of a thunderstorm. Um, and then a bolt of lightning comes down and strikes the pole after Tommy and his friend uh, break away, seeing that the lightning coming. Um, the pole gets hit by lightning and resurrecting Jason and basically revealing zombie Jason. Jason, now alive and angry and super pissed off, has one mode of one thing driving him, and that's to seek revenge and to completely destroy anyone in his way. Um, Basically, the movie boils down to Jason going on his rampage, Tommy being blamed for what's going on, Tommy then going one on one with Jason at Camp Crystal Lake, and ultimately defeating Jason by motorboat to the face and a rock and chain, drowning him at the bottom of the lake, putting an end to Jason at the moment. Um, so for me personally, this one is my favorite in the series. So I'm giving this one a 5 out of 5. What do you rate Jason Lives? The people want to know.
I'd give it a solid 4.
A 4?
Yeah.
Okay. Z gives it a 4. I give it a 5. And that's that. Um, let's see. That one was really one of the best ones. Um, Now we're starting to get into the garbage pile, guys. And I'm not going to go over these ones. I'm just going to rate them because these ones are very forgettable too. This one is second to the worst movie of them all, in my opinion. Uh, we have Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. Um, Pretty much this one is Jason is somehow resurrected from the lake due to this girl having psychic ability. Um, he then goes on a murderous rampage as per usual. Uh, he comes down to a one-on-one battle with the psychic power girl in a very uneventful final fight to where she summons her dead dad, who I forgot how he died. Maybe Jason, or I don't remember, or something happened to him. Uh, she summons her dead dad from the lake. The dead dad comes down and rechains him to the rock or whatever that he was tied to before, drowning Jason and ending that tirade. For me, this one gets a solid 1. If I could rate it a 0, I would, but this one definitely one for me, one of the worst in the franchise. What are you rolling with, Z?
It's also low on the list for me. I honestly give it a 2, though.
A 2? Hey, put him down. Put him down. Um, so yeah, there's that one, guys. Let's see. Next, we've got not the worst, but definitely not one of the best. This one is slightly above the New Blood, and this one is Friday the 13th, Part 8. Jason Takes Manhattan. This movie kicks off with see, this one was released 1989. That puts me at 2 years old, almost 3. This one, plain and simple. Jason's floating at the bottom of the lake. Lightning bolt comes and strikes the water, reviving Jason. Jason then shows up on the boat for the people that are swimming right above the boat that's sitting right above him. He goes up there, handles his business, harpoons both of them, uh, goes, and then we find out that the heroes of the movie are on their way from a high school graduation trip to New York City. Hey, put them down. To New York City, to which Jason follows them for some reason. And then the battle takes place on a boat. He pretty much wipes out most of the people, not all of them, on the boat. They then land in New York City, to where Jason follows them, ultimately culminating to a battle down in the sewers where he is swiftly dealt with and for some reason reverted back to a child where he dies. Um, so yeah, this one I'll give a 2 out of 5. It's not horrible, but it's not great. I don't know why they decided to go to New York with it. It really didn't make sense. But then again, why did they decide to do something else later on? So, um,
No, no,
so yeah, what do you give Manhattan, Z?
no, no.
I'd also rated it too.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so a solid 2 from both of us here. Let's see. What's next? All right, got Manhattan. Now, personally, this next one is a guilty pleasure of mine. It's actually my second favorite, and it's cheesy, it's hokey. A lot of people hate it, but I like it because it then gave us hope of something that happened later on, and it turned out to be pretty good. So, the next one is Part 9, which they don't call it that, but it's
Now,
Friday the 13th, Jason Goes to Hell. This movie,
now, if I could say something about this movie
yeah, go
real
ahead.
quick, this pretty much has the same trope that Halloween 5,
Yeah,
which was the siblings
no,
trope.
yeah,
Having a sibling or a niece or a nephew. It didn't work with Halloween, and unfortunately for me, it didn't really work for me either in this movie.
yeah. Like I said, this movie definitely has its flaws, and then it has its pluses. So this movie takes released 1993. Gave us Sean Cunningham back because Sean Cunningham is the original guy for the. He took a leave of absence and came back for this one, and it showed. This one takes place years after the whatever last one was. Um, it's Jason, or it opens up with this lady. She's going and renting a cabin, or she bought a home somewhere in the area of Camp Crystal Lake. Then proceeds to relax and unwind and get things in order. As she's in the shower, her power decides to go out. Well, her investigating and all that ends up being Jason cut the power, and he's not happy that she's in his house, and he wants her dealt with. Uh, he chases her through the forest. She's running out butt ass naked with a towel wrapped around her. Jason chases her into an open field to where we find out the FBI has set up a sting and they blow Jason literally to pieces. Her being an FBI agent herself. Uh, they think they finally did it. They beat him. It's over. And honestly, you would think that they did too because he's just in pieces. But obviously, this would be a Friday the 13th movie, and it wouldn't. It would have ended if he was done within the first 10 minutes. Uh, Come to find out, Jason's body is taken to a local coroner where they can examine the body. It is being examined by, I forgot the doctor's name. He is making jokes and examining the pieces to the body to where he then decides something happens and the heart starts beating and it freaks them out. He then goes into want to put the heart out of its misery. Something happens, some kind of like mind control or something, or he just loses his mind, and he proceeds to then consume the heart by eating it. Therefore, transferring all the souls that Jason's taken from killing people over time, and putting the soul into man himself. Like he said, here's another thing of the copycat thing, but what Jason does, Jason turns on people. Jason is now going on a rampage in Canada, like this late area. He does try to do that in his body. And the only way he can do that is by a Burmese member, no number drugs. So basically, I think that goes to find one, kills her, but does not self-defend any older. Goes on a complete rampage, finds out that the member of the family control is the daughter, and daughter has a baby, basically like it's baby time. So, we then go to the Jason under the baby, try to be resurrected. The mother and father are here for me, along with Nathan and Duke, the doctor. They then culminate into the final battle of Jason at his house, where Jason is then resurrected by the previous energy where they killed. He gets body back. They find out that the only way to get Jason is by this mystery dagger, and basically kills him with that. So then opens up the gate to battle. Jason then sucks into said gate, and the movie ends with Jason actually going to battle. And then you get a pre-credit scene of Jason's past, sitting in the dirt, and out of the dirt he's going to go off very clear of one very clear. He then pulls his mask down back to hell, sitting up in the branch. So, very it goes along with solid three. The best definitely is what it is. It was 90 weeks, so it's perfect. And it's hot. So, yeah. Yeah, what you get on the
I'm giving Jason Goes to Hell a 4.
four. Wow, okay. Well, since he gave it a four, and I really do like the movie, I'm going to change my grade, and I'm going to give it a four as well. I think it definitely deserves it because it just did some things that we hadn't been used to. Jason's look in the movie was fantastic. I thought that was the best version of Jason that there was. Jason in the movie was portrayed by Kane Hodder, who had done the previous Jasons. Honestly, the best Jason to date. There's just nobody that moves like Kane.
Yeah.
Shout out to Kane Hodder. You ever see that? Big fan. So yeah.
Yeah. And
So
for me personally, this should have been, I know they were setting up the crossover with Freddy Krueger. That crossover should have been the final nail in the coffin. However, there is one black sheep of the Friday the 13th franchise
and
that
we
we
are
unfortunately.
getting into that one right now. Now, this movie was released in 2001, and everybody had such high hopes for it until it came out. Because originally it was supposed to be something completely different. It did not work out that way. And the movie we are talking about is Jason X, the 10th movie in the franchise. And this is hands down the worst movie of the franchise. Now, I'll give you a brief summary of the movie. So the movie takes place in the mid 2000s. Um, Jason has been captured. He's being studied. They're trying to figure out why he can why he can regenerate dead cells and all this and that. The government comes in and wants to move Jason to a different facility. At the same time, the doctor who was in charge of him, doctor, I think her name was Rowan, she then explains that he's been through a firing squad and lived and regenerated. He's been hung and basically pulled himself off. He's basically been everything under the sun and still kicking. The government says that he is a vital part. He's a vital part of their studies or whatever, and they want to eventually use him as a weapon. Doesn't work out so good for them because he promptly breaks out, takes care of everybody at the facility except for the doctor studying him. He is then chases her into a cryo freezing area, to which he stabs her, or she pushes him into it, locks it. He then uses his machete to pierce through. freezing him and her in an enclosed room, and then we are treated to a so many years later. It's the future. The Earth, as seemingly is a dead planet. You get a bunch of like people from Earth 2, they called it. They come down. They find Jason. They find the doctor. They take him up to their no shit. This is for real spaceship, and they're on their way back to Earth 2. The professor of the trip wants to take Jason and put him in a museum and get some money off of him. They resurrect the doctor by unfreezing her, so now they can unfreeze people. She goes to tell them that Jason's a menace, he shouldn't be here, and then the whole story unfolds. They have a sentient android who was hands down the worst character in the movie. They then super soldier her. She then goes and karate chops and blows Jason up into pieces. And oh my god, I can't even begin to tell you the heartache I'm telling you guys explaining this. Jason is then knocked into a thing. They think they're gonna escape. Uh, Jason's resurrected by magic ants, like for real, magic ants.
Nanobots.
Nanobot ant things. They resurrect him and give him a shiny new body, to which is very metal, uh, making him almost invincible. He is then Jesus. They then go on a final rampage in the movie to where he's launched into space by one of the soldiers on the ship. The rescue ship comes and saves the protagonist in here, and then the super soldier and Jason are sent flying into Earth 2's atmosphere, where they're both presumably disintegrated, and Jason being dealt with forever. To which you see this happen, and a shooting star-like object hits the ground, or I'm sorry, hits the lake, um, and then before the credits roll, you see Jason's new metal mask hitting the water and sinking to the bottom. And dear God, what a shit show this movie was. It was horrible. Solid 1 out of 5. If I could give this movie a 0, it'd be a -0. Because this movie is just straight garbage. The rating.
I have to break the rules on this. I'm giving it a -1.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll give it a 1. So worst movie in the franchise. Okay, rounding it up. Then we got, after that, in 2003, we got Freddy vs. Jason, the crossover that so many people were hoping for to happen. It finally happened. Um, Actually was a very, very good movie. Super cheesy, super Freddy. They leaned into a whole lot of the Nightmare on Elm Street tropes, which was actually really, really good. Um, Then basically the movie is Freddy wants to get out of hell, but in order to get out of hell, he needs people to fear him. The only way he can do that is by making somebody help him. He revives Jason out of hell, sending Jason back to Earth. Jason goes on a rampage, all in the name of Freddy Krueger. People start remembering Freddy's name, and excuse me, guys. People start remembering Freddy's name, scaring people. Two dummies from a mental asylum make people remember who Freddy was. Freddy then regains his power and is able to come back. He then later is pissed off because Jason just doesn't stop, and Freddy goes to try to stop himself, and that turns out to be a big no-no as the battle between Jason and Freddy continues. Begins. There's some other stuff in there too, but basically all you need to know is that Freddy and Jason go at it. For some reason, Freddy can kung fu and box and stuff, which was also hilarious. Jason, also his slow-moving self, um, goes in and yeah, they duke it out. Ultimately, to the winner being Jason, and then Jason, after the long fought-out battle, he then dies himself. Um, all ending into the moment of Jason walking out of the lake with Freddy's severed head, and presumably setting up a sequel and unfortunately, the sequel never happened. So yeah, that's Freddy versus Jason. I know I skipped over a lot of stuff, but come on, guys, we're running late on time here. So for me, Freddy vs. Jason gets a 4 out of 5. It was really great. It wasn't perfect. Robert Englund, he really did a great job as Freddy. One last time in this movie, I thought it was a great last performance for him. Even though the movie was really well received, it still has a cult following. Jason was a new actor. I forgot who played Jason in this one.
It was Ken Persinger.
Yeah, so I think he was a one and done with this one. But yeah, the movie overall was really great. I like it. I still watch it to this day. Um, Mixed both properties perfect. It was like a dream come true for horror fans who had been wanting it. Um, was it again? Nightmare. I was it. Jason Goes to Hell solidified that Freddy and Jason took place in the same universe. So yeah, 4 out of 5 for me. What are you giving it, Z?
Yeah, I'm giving it the same. It was a really good movie. They did lean heavily onto the Freddy Krueger aspects of the movie.
Yeah, it was very
Uh,
Nightmare on Elm Street heavy, which was fun.
but yeah, that was completely fun. It was a nice switch up compared to the other Jason films.
Right. So,
Uh,
all right. So, what is your
yeah.
final rating? You gave a 4?
Well, I know we're running short on time, but there is one more Friday the 13th movie.
Yeah. What was your final rating for Freddy vs. Jason? Real quick?
4.
Okay, so we both gave it a unanimous 4. All right. Last movie in the franchise, the 2009 reboot. So we won't get too heavy into this one because basically this one was basically a rehash of the second one. Is mom here? Um, all right, so the 2000, what was this, 2009. Um, this movie basically takes place right after the original first one. Jason witnesses his mom being beheaded. He then goes on a revenge tour to pretty much take anybody out that enters his woods. Um, no teenagers allowed, Jason says. The movie takes place with a bunch of teenagers going to a rich douche's house, his family's house. They go on there for a vacation time. Jason doesn't like that. Actually, before all that, kidnaps he kidnaps somebody's sister, and because she resembles his mother, so there's that. Because he kidnaps her because her and her group were on a weed hunt looking for the hidden weed treasure that was out there somewhere. Uh, they don't. Well, they do find the weed, but they also find Jason, and they're all completely dealt with, except for her. She's then kidnapped by Jason because she does resemble his mother. Then the movie starts off with, like I said, a group of teenagers go to or college students, I'm guessing. Um, they are going to the rich douche's house, his family's house, to spend the weekend or whatever out there enjoying the lake. Jason probably deals with all of them, leaving the guy from Supernatural and one survivor, forgot her name, she's dealt with, and then it comes down to the Supernatural guy and the kidnapped sister, who they eliminate Jason due to a chain and a hay baler, and yeah, he's dealt with. Um, the movie then goes before credits goes and shows Jason not dead and presumably killing the last two survivors. Um, there was a planned sequel. We never did get that sequel. The movie overall was a great reboot. I really, really liked this one. I thought it had potential. I liked how Jason wasn't necessarily zombie Jason as we know it, but uh, he wasn't all there either. So basically, he was still living. Uh, they kind of hinted that zombie Jason was going to be a thing, but they didn't. Um, they never did make the sequel. So now Jason, the franchise is in limbo. Nobody knows what's going on with that franchise. There's all kinds of stuff. It's basically in the hell zone. So yeah, the 2009 reboot, I will give a solid 4 out of 5. Z, what are you giving it? And do you have anything to say about it?
Yeah, I knew there was a reason why I like the final two survivors. I'm a fan of Supernatural myself, and I didn't realize that it was a Jared. I'm
Yeah,
not even gonna try to pronounce his last name.
yeah, he's
Uh,
one of the brothers from Supernatural.
yeah, he was Sam.
Yeah,
So, that's why I really liked it. But yeah, I'd give it a 4 as well.
yeah, no, it was really a good movie. The only thing that really brought it down was they used that same guy, the blonde dude, from Accepted and a couple other movies, and that guy just seems like a douche in real life. He's not a very good actor either, so he really kind of brought the movie down. Um, but other than that, the movie was pretty much great. I felt like at certain parts it was a little too rushed, um, but overall it was great. So that is our review of the Friday the 13th, guys. It was the series as a whole, and it was rushed, I know, but we were running short on time. We're running at 1:21 right now, so yeah, I want to kind of wrap this up now. So overall, we're gonna give the franchise overall rating. This rating is gonna be a one between 1 and 10, no 0.5. So, what do you give the entire franchise? I give the Friday the 13th franchise a lucky 7 out of 10.
I'm gonna have to one up you on that. I'm actually giving it an 8 out of 10.
Okay. No, I get it. I know I would have gone 8, but there's just those big major negatives on it. The new beginning, um, the psychic powered one, and then Jason X, just the biggest pile of shit ever. Um, so yeah, so oh, because you gave it 8 and I gave it 7, we'll give it a 7.5. Then so there it is, guys. 7.5 Friday the 13th franchise. We definitely recommend watching them, even the bad ones, because it's good just to watch them once if you haven't already. Um, yeah, so then that's it, guys. We're gonna wrap it up here. No, 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 don't do that. Sorry, guys. We're gonna wrap it up here. Next week, I was thinking of doing a review on Killer Clowns from Outer Space. What do you think, Z?
That is a movie I've never seen.
And you're in luck because it's free on YouTube right now. So I recommend go and watch it, Z, and then next week we'll review it because I'll tell you right now, it's a movie. Uh, it's it's personally one of my favorites just because of how quirky and zany it is. Um, it's definitely worth a watch at least once a year. But all right, guys, that's where we're gonna wrap it up. So be on the lookout next week for our Killer Clowns from Outer Space review, um, and then we'll have, of course, hit you up with the SmackDown and the Raw news, and then yeah, we'll take it from there, guys. So this has been the Fat Man and Chill podcast. I am the Fat Man. You guys know where to find us. This podcast does not normally go up on Spotify, but Z made a good point. So we'll be putting episode 1, 2, and 3 now on Spotify this week. So be on the lookout for there. We're on Spotify underneath the same moniker, the Fat Man Gaming. So be look out for that, guys. Leave us a good review over there, and just even if you play in the black background, just give it a listen, or just leave us a 5-star and a good review, and we'd appreciate it. Here on YouTube, we are on the quest for 100 subs. We are at 70 at the moment. And 100 to do the entertainment package giveaway. So we're counting on you guys to help us get there. The quest for 500 in partnership still going. The current console giveaway. And then 1,000 subs. Who knows what we're going to do at 1,000 subs. So yeah, until next week, this is the Fat Man and Chill podcast. I am the Fat Man signing off. Z, you know the tradition. Peace out.
All right, guys. We'll see you later. As you can see now on my border, follow me on social media.
Yep. All right, guys. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. And go watch some movies. And then we'll catch you guys on the next one.